So, surviving your fistulotomy. First thing that you're going to need to purchase or borrow or ask your hospital if they have one that you could use, or if you have an incontinence nurse, you could ask them if they have any access to anything like this. This is called a sitz bath. You lift the toilet lid up, you place this in the toilet, and you can get a jug and fill it with hand hot water, just less than body temperature, because when you have a fistulotomy you've got an open wound that's going to, if it's too hot, that's going to be more uncomfortable. So this is your sitz bath. So when you've filled it up, it has these holes here, and when your bottom sits in, it will displace water and the rest of the water will go out of the holes that they've provided. This one's got a lovely little thing so you can hang it up out of the way. I've had this for 7 years now, and I'm hoping I won't need to use it very much more. I'm hoping I won't have to have very many more fistulotomies. But it's been invaluable for soothing. So hand hot water, sit on this, but you will add, I do apologise for this container that it's in, but this is real life for real people. So Epsom salts. So these are crystals that you dissolve in the warm water before you sit down. You can put these in a bath. I would use 1 cup of Epsom salts for a bath. You could use more, but then you're running the risk a little bit of stinging. So this is why I would add, for a full sitz bath, I would add a tablespoon of Epsom salt. Make sure it's all, like I said, it's all dissolved. It's very soothing. I would say I used to soak on the sitz bath for, probably 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. So I'd choose a video on YouTube or a website or an audiobook or a podcast, anything basically to keep you there for a period of time. And then I would place a towel on a chair nearby, if that's possible. And then I would just stand up from the sitz bath and just sit on the towel, because you can pat dry, but for me it was just so raw and so painful, and I can't. The reason I'm saying about the pain is because I can't have anything stronger than paracetamol. My body can't cope with it. So I would sit on the towel and wait a few minutes, and then just dry any bits of me that was still remaining wet. The next ideal item to have, even if you can't have a sitz bath, is this wonder of wonders. It's called a peri bottle. So I've filled this with water. It's got a valve at the bottom, which is very important. So I'll use the sitz bath to collect it in. So you've opened your bowels, and instead of wiping, and even if you have had a child or you have an injury or surgery anywhere down there, so you get warm water and you from the back, ooh, this is getting interesting. So from the back you would squirt it in an upwards direction. I am getting water all over myself, so I'm going to stop now. But you get the idea. So this is, instead of wiping with toilet tissue, we rinse off with this, and again the same thing applies. You can just then use a towel to sit on rather than wiping. So that's the peri bottle. And say, for example, if you've had a baby and you need to urinate, that peri bottle, oh my goodness. So before you wee, you start squeezing the water down there, and it dilutes the urine and it stops that sting. It's the same for when you've got a fistulotomy. If you're a lady, the urine doesn't just, sometimes it goes onto the fistulotomy area and it stings. So diluting urine with the peri bottle is just, it's so good. So the other thing that I found whenever I've had any bowel surgery is that I get bowel cramps. So if I've had a fistulotomy, my bowel goes, hey, we need to work really hard now for whatever reason. And so I would open my bowels a lot more than normal, you know, like IBS flare up basically. And that meant I was in excruciating pain because, as we all know, stools stings fistulotomy wounds. So I was opening my bowels far too often. It was all getting out of control. So I started taking Buscopan. I did phone my GP, so please don't take any medications without speaking to your healthcare provider first, because obviously Buscopan can affect other parts of your body and there could be medication interactions, so you really must make sure that you speak to your healthcare provider. I started taking Buscopan. I learned after, I think, the second fistulotomy, I learned that when I come out of surgery, I take the Buscopan, and then my journey home isn't quite as traumatic, shall we say, with the bowel cramping. And the other thing that I don't know how many of you know about is being entitled to an incontinence nurse. It's not, you wouldn't automatically think fistula incontinence nurse, you would think incontinence nurse. But with, well, certainly for me, because I had a pyogenic granuloma removed that was off my bowel, so there was a hole that they didn't recognise, even though I told them, but I'm not saying anything. So that then that hole in my bowel went through the cavity from where the tumour was removed, popped the furthest stitch away, joy of joys, and there I have my fistula. So, you know, the stools go through the fistula. So basically, you've got no sphincter on the end of your fistula, you've got a tunnel that your stool can pass through, and so you are 100% incontinent. Not through your anal sphincter, but through your fistula. And I don't know how many people know about this, but go to your GP or your medical provider and say, I would like to be referred to an incontinence nurse, because the incontinence nurses, they have all the goodies. So the other items that I need is called a Q4 system. So it's a bag of water with a pipe and a pump and a cone that goes up anally, and then you rinse, using the pump, you rinse your the lower part of your sigmoid colon basically, and then that reduces the constant stool passing through the fistula. So, but I would say this is once your fistulotomy has healed, then you can get that kind of thing. And not everybody needs the bag of water. Some people just have it's called a mini system. It's like this big. It just has the pump that's filled with water. But basically, if you can get an incontinence nurse on board, they will be a godsend for you. The other thing that's really important is a support network. It might be that your incontinence nurse or advice from the people that you deal with at the hospital have a support network for people with fistulas. But maybe they don't, in which case you'll have to find your own community. The other options available in the UK is Samaritans. It's a free phone line, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So Samaritans is ideal for emergency mental health care, in the sense of a listening ear by people that are trained to listen to you. There are also other online counselling options. They often cost a lot of money, but then if you were going to visit with a counsellor each week, at the moment in the UK, I think it's from £50 an hour upwards. So the online counselling, I think you have more access to more interaction with your counsellor, video sessions. It's not in-person sessions, but video sessions, text messages, WhatsApp messages. I would also advise that if you are struggling with the day-to-day and seemingly relentless nature of having a fistula, to go to see your doctor, to talk to them, because they are trained to know, you know, they can signpost you whether you have cognitive behavioural therapy, whether you need medication, they can reassure you about certain things, so please go and see your doctor. And the other thing that's really a part of having a fistula is, say, once you're, maybe not even once your fistula has healed, but either in the healing process or afterwards when the fistulotomy is healed, but you might still have drainage coming out, is drainage pads. So there are some unique and unusual solutions that we've found. One of them is washable makeup remover pads. The other one is breastfeeding nipple guards, because they are disposable, they are waterproof on the one side, and they're absorbent. They have antimicrobial, antibacterial, obviously, because a lady's nipples need to be kept healthy. So there's that option. Obviously they're not washable like the other ones are. So I really hope that this essential kit is really helpful for you. So we have the sitz bath, we have the Epsom salts, we have the peri bottle, you know, the squirty peri bottle. If you need counselling, make sure that you're getting it. Even if you have to wait, at least you can phone up the 24-hour helplines in the meantime till you get your counselling. Make sure, if you don't have one, that you at least try and plug into an incontinence service provider, because it's really good. Try and make sure that you can find your community. There's a lot of us in the world. The fistulas are more common than you think. It's just rarely talked about. And try and problem solve with drainage pads of different varieties. So if you want to leave your experiences in the comments section, if you've problem solved something that hasn't been mentioned here, or an essential item that I have either not come across or forgotten, please do add it, because we need our community to rally together with problem solving. Bye.